Here we go. We're canning our first batch of things using the pressure canner. See, we have our Presto pressure canner. Okay. Sitting here. Is that 3 quarts yet? 3 quarts of water with the bottom rack in. We're going to do a double deck, so we're going to use our second rack on top. We're doing carrots today. So what we do is we're going to cold pack the carrots in the oven. We have our jars warming to be sterilized. We have our carrots prepared, cleaned, sliced, and diced. The water's coming to a boil. What happens once we bring the water to a boil?
What do you need?
We bring the water to a boil. Pour the boiling water with a little bit of salt into each mason jar. Put the lid on with a ring. Drop in here. And then the magic begins. We will give you an update shortly. Okay, here we go. We are canning our carrots, packing the carrots loosely, but yet firmly at the same time. You don't want to overpack, but you don't want to be too loose. Leaving about an inch of headspace. Filling with hot water. Put your salt in there. And again, to refresh, over here we have the pressure canner with the bottom rack installed with 3 quarts of water, and we're going to line the bottom with the jars and then put the top on the top so we can have 2 layers, and then we begin. 30 minutes. These are pints, right? Okay, let's do this whole thing from the beginning so you can see the whole process. She brings out the jar here from the oven, keeping it warm, to keep it sterilized, but also to help prevent shock and when you're putting different temperature liquids inside. There's a little knife, plastic knife there to arrange the stuff. Salt. Hot water. This is called a raw pack method because we are not cooking the carrots beforehand. The hot pack method, you actually be cooking carrots in hot water and then put the semi-cooked carrots into the mason jars and then process. Okay. Yeah. Leaving about an inch of headspace. Move it around to make sure there's no air bubbles. Wipe the top. Using the little magnet device, pick up dome and a ring to avoid touching the contamination. Turn, seal. Use the jar grabber. Stick in a hot water bath. I mean the hot water, which is going to become the steamer. And you see, since we're canning with steam, the water barely comes up to the jars. When you're doing a regular method, the water will be over the jars. And that way we can do 2 racks. Second rack is going to fit on top like this. Okay, here we are. We are filling the last of the jars. You can see here we're on our second level here. There's 10 on the bottom, and we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Looks like we're going to do 17 pints tonight. The water in there is on, so the water's ready to go. So all you have to do is crank the heat up and we'll have pressure before too long. So if you want to take over the video.
No, I need to learn how to do it.
Okay. So we're going to put the lid on. Hardest part of this one is trying to line up the little lines. There we go. Turn it. Okay. It's on. Turn the heat up to high, and then we can back it down later. So what we have here, we have the pressure gauge, tells you the pressure. You can get this thing tested yearly at your local cooperative extension office. This is the release valve. This will hiss a little bit. You have this will pop up when there's pressure in here, so you know it's under pressure. And back here you have your blowout preventer.
The air vent.
This is the air vent. You have your emergency release valve. In case of an overpressure, this will balloon out and release pressure. So according to this, we should go to about 12 pounds. So you should start seeing the pressure come up pretty quick once it decides to come up. Not going to take long at all.
11 pounds.
11 pounds, but we're a little higher. So we're going to go 12 pounds because of our slightly higher altitude. And then how long do we process these for?
25 minutes.
25 minutes sounds.
Wait.
25 minutes.
But it says.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Starting to.
Is everything else turned off? No need to have it on.
Everything's on. Oh.
What?
It's action. That's going to start popping up as the pressure rises. Then once the pressure gets high enough, that'll stay up in the upward position. And then you'll start seeing the pressure on the gauge go up. Look so closely, you can hear the water boiling inside. You do not start timing the processing until the pressure gets to the recommended pressure. Double check, make sure that's. I'm just making sure it's seated. Good. And it's quite normal to have a little bit of condensation and steam coming out. Okay, we have the pressure has come up. One thing we noticed is it'll take a little longer. If you do a test run with it being empty, it won't take long to fill that up for this little valve to come up. But with a fully loaded pressure cooker. Took a while, even with the water already at pretty hot. It was boiling for a while. So now with that up, the thing's sealed. Now we have to wait for the pressure to come up on the pressure gauge. We want about 12 psi here. And what happens once you reach your psi, you kind of have to adjust the heat on your range so it holds that. So it might initially go a little higher. What is this thing? As you can see now, we've reached about where we want to be. We turn the heat down a little bit because if we don't, it's going to go up. So you might have to adjust it a little bit. See if it starts to fall a little bit. Crank the heat up just a smidge. And once you get the hang of your unit, you'll know right where to put it. So now we started the time. And 25 minutes, we reduce heat and let the heat come all the way down. And let the pressure come down on its own. And then we can take the jars out.